Hello and welcome to Columbia Bounty Fishing. My name is Brandon. I spend a lot of my free time chasing Pikeminnow bounty fish on the Columbia River. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you've been following this series this summer, then double welcome. You probably know at this point I took an absolute thrashing yesterday. Well, yesterday for me, last week for you guys from your perspective. But today is the day that we're going to turn it around. Or we probably won't, but we're darn sure going to try.
Good God, the tide is low this morning. The fish have not started to cooperate yet. Here's one of those little coastal cutties that can be a nuisance sometimes. If you ever wonder why your leader gets so beat up so fast when you're out here fishing sometimes, I can tell you that these are definitely a contributing factor. These old clamshells, some of them are sharp like razor blades, and they definitely nick up your leaders. Once again, that's your reminder to check your leaders. It's my reminder to check my leader. So I've decided to call it from here. It's a real hot bite going on, but I'm not after cutthroat and sculpin. So I'm going to pick up and move to a different spot. And just had a thought. A friend of mine asked, what do you plan on doing when Pikeminnow season is over? And I'd already been braining on that one for a bit, and I told him I strategically named my channel Columbia Bounty Fishing because bounty doesn't necessarily mean cash. In the off season, we chase table bounty. So there will be other videos of what I do in relation to Columbia bounty fishing. I've had burbot high on my bucket list for years. I really am going to target burbot at least once or twice this summer, and hopefully maybe some in the fall and winter. So that's going to be a hoot. Might make a good video. And I probably forgot to mention coho and king fishing hopefully this fall too. Sneak away for a trip or two of that every fall as well. So those will be some videos in the off season. Right now I am hunting the napping zone. A little place back here I like to tuck in. Anywho, I'm gonna get lost down this little dirt road and take a nap. I'll bring you back when it's fishing time. Yeah, I'm just afternoon napping. Now the mosquitoes saw to it that nap never really had a chance to happen, so I got frustrated and left, moved once again, like the theme of this video is trying to point out to you, have several spots. If one's not producing, go check out another one. I saw a school of something working the weed patch right in front of me, so I flipped a worm out there, and apparently it's short pikeminnow. I lied. He's 9 1/4. It's nice to sit in the shade under a bridge, but on the 4th of July, the traffic today's been ridiculous. I'm still here because I'm actually getting some good bites. I've just had a streak of I can't get a hook set and keep a fish on to save my life. I've had several fish come off halfway in. But after yesterday, that's like 1,000% better because yesterday I got nothing, so things are improving. I have high hopes for this evening. Well, the conditions have changed and forced a move. That particular spot on the incoming tide, all the snags must point upriver because I just fished a lot of the incoming tide and never snagged once. As soon as the tide changed, I just snagged up on 2 of my last 4 casts. So I'm moving to another spot. I do have a spot in mind that I want to do some night fishing for sure at. I don't know if it's going to be my all-night spot. That'll depend on the fish, not me.
But there's one or two other spots I do want to check out while I'm down here before I head back upriver to my night fishing spot. But it was an encouraging afternoon. There were bites to be had. I just having an off day. But I'm hoping we'll pick up some at this spot. It's a very good outgoing tide evening spot. So we'll see what happens. Well, the job has been a little better today, but as always, the office is just beautiful. I don't know if that was current or fish. Kind of looked like both. Sometimes a bite will pull your weight just enough if it's hung up on something that it'll start drifting in the current again. So sometimes you get what, I don't know, almost a false bite, and it's just your weight resettling and adjusting. So I always try and wait for that take. Don't swing on a taste. It's nice to have some shade on the dock as well. Well, that was 45 minutes in a rig I'll never get back. I got one bite in the first 45 minutes, and then I finally got my second bite, and it was a sturgeon, who broke me off, of course. And unfortunately, my main line broke, so we got my whole rig. So rather than sit there and tie up, I've already got another one ready to go. I'm just going to head to the next spot. I'll toss out the first one while I re-rig the second one, because it's all about maximum time in the water fishing. And a quick little fishing break for a public safety announcement. Folks, keep an eye out when you're out in the sticks. This doe was in the shade, and I had the sun in my eyes, and I didn't see her until it was almost too late. So make sure you're keeping an eye out. I already was. Over the 3 days I was down there, I saw 4 fresh roadkills, so I knew that the animals were out and moving, and I knew all the added traffic was creating problems. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, drive a little slower, and keep an eye peeled, because you never know when one of these things is going to step out. Now, I have nothing against sunrises, but personally, I've always been a sunset man myself. That is a P-mouth, and that is absolutely not what I was wanting to see. This has been one of those evenings I've had to remind myself to look up from the rod tip and appreciate how nice it is out here. Now, my original plan this evening was to keep moving and checking out a few spots. This was just supposed to be a spot check. Well, we've started with the bat hour now. I thought the bite was really picking up and I just couldn't get a hook set, but no, it's just lots and lots of bats. Although that looks like a bite. That is a bite. Now, while I spent my evening here trying to catch fish, my upstream neighbors set off ordnance for probably the better part of 4 hours. You know, that shot would have been really cool if I had hooked that fish. And that was sort of the theme of my evening, I guess. Honestly, I was getting quite a few bites. I just was not connecting. I was messing with the camera. I was watching the fireworks. I was swatting bugs. Whatever it was, I wasn't really laser focused on the fishing aspect of the evening. Oh, my leader broke. Check your leaders, Brandon. I also imagine sleep deprivation probably had a bit of an impact at this point. Yeah, that dude's getting real tired.
Happy 4th, everybody.
And once again, my gratitude to my upstream neighbors who literally kept me entertained the whole evening. They probably spent more on one evening's worth of fireworks than I'm going to make all season on Pikeminnow. But to each their own, right? Well, within reason.
Unfortunately, I've had just a mob of these move in on me. We're almost at the bottom of the outgoing tide. There's very little current, and that's when these guys really like to come out. So, I think I'm going to call it, let the tide change, take a little nap, and we'll get at it again in an hour or two.
Yeah, that early morning, it just hits a little different sometimes. Just gorgeous morning waiting for me when I got up. Unfortunately, the fish decided to sleep in a little bit, and this is what my first half hour looked like.
Morning, happy campers. Pretty sure I was asleep before I actually got off my feet last night. I didn't think to wrap up the evening or check in with the camera, so I'm doing that now. I've been up for a while. I slept for almost 2 hours. Not straight, there was a lot of wake ups. It got down to 46, at least that's what my temperature gauge said, and it's chilly. But it's a beautiful morning. Last night, I didn't even wrap up the evening. Lots of sculpin. As the tide got lower and the night got later, the good bites died off, and it was just as soon as you got bait in the water, you had a sculpin on. And unfortunately, this morning has started exactly the same way. Hoping for just a couple more before we have to head in and turn in and then head home. We'll check in a bit. There's one right now, just chilling out in the water in front of me, waiting for me to put bait out there. Well, you might know, as soon as I turned off the camera, set it down, get a bite.
And of course, I got a bite right on the heels of that last one. It was a fairly decent sized fish, and I could see she was barely hung in the lip. So I opted to drag her up here on the boat launch and beach her beside me, instead of just lifting her up like I normally would, and it paid off.
That's a big Pikeminnow right there. That's what she looks like laying next to some 10-inch keepers. That's a big girl. All right, it's been like an hour and that crazy thing is still there.
Number 6, last fish of the trip, pretty good one. Anyway, 6.
So somebody had asked me how we do the turn-ins, and it's super easy. If you stop by to register the technicians, not here, this is the Cathlamet Marina. On the back side of that light pole right there is just a drop box, and it's got the forms in it. You can take out a form, fill it out, and drop it off, and you're registered. And then right over here is where they park when they pull in the mornings. The fish angel is at the back right now counting my fish, and you just drop it off. We do a little bit of paperwork afterwards, and I walk away with a voucher in hand.
Yeah, that definitely was a big fish. Well, I got stung by the 1/16 of an inch bug again. I turned in 6 fish. One of them was a 1/16 of an inch shy, so I got credit for 5, making that officially my worst turn in of the season. Maybe my worst turn in of last season. Anyway, I'm not devastated because I learned pretty quick if this is just about numbers for you, you're going to be really disappointed a lot. So you got to find other wins, even when the trip overall was a loss. You know, catching the Aurora was amazing. The bite yesterday is coming into the beginnings of the summer pattern, which is why I keep very confidently telling you the numbers will increase very soon. And that's it. This trip's in the books. I will be back down in probably 2 weeks again, and we're going to take a stab at having some of those 40, 50 fish days. They're coming. And as a final thought, I would just like to say once again, my thanks to those of you who've made it this far watching the video, those of you who've been following along all summer, those of you who like, comment, share, and subscribe. It lets me know you appreciate what I'm doing, and I want to let you know that I appreciate that. Thank you all. Tune in. I'm already about to start my next trip, and we'll see you next week.